Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 51 of the Stire Sound. We are back. Unadilla is in the books. Uddevalla is in the books. We're here to talk about the latest in AMA motocross, MXGP. Motocross of Nations rumors also heating up around this time of year. We have some things to digest today. WMX is back. Triple Crown Series up in Canada wrapped up. A lot to talk about. I am Trey Stire. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, wherever you're watching YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. It doesn't really matter. We just care that you're listening and you're watching. Be sure to spread the word and spread the love. A lot happened this weekend in Unadilla. More red plate drama in both classes here in America. A little bit of red plate drama in MX2 over in Europe as well. We're here to talk about it. Joining me as always from the Dirt Legal Dirt Bike Depot WMR KTM team, Jack Noel. You guys teasing some pretty big announcements coming soon or coming in the next few months for the Dirt Bike Depot team. Also, did I see that you're doing all 17 rounds of Supercross next year?
Yeah, I actually was talking to Max before we got on, and I think that's that's what we want to do. That's the goal, obviously, and the goal is to do all 17 rounds. We've had like conversations about like what would be more valuable to us as a team, and sat down and is it doing 250 East and then doing outdoors, or is it doing 17 rounds of Supercross? Kind of like where do we lie in sense of like importance? And I said, I mean, going West Coast, I mean, you have a lot of things changing with manufacturers and KTM and AEO and all these other things that are moving parts of the puzzle that are interesting. So definitely it's a possibility. I'm not saying for sure, but it's definitely in the book. It's definitely like we're talking about doing it. Like it's not like, and that's what we want to
Nice.
do. So that's like the whole thing that post about, just to get some, maybe turn some heads a little bit. Oh, 17 rounds now. Okay, okay, maybe we'll throw some, what I mean, something like that. So, but yeah, and it just opens up like a slew of different territory of rider we can kind of approach as well. Like some more guys that are more want to be West Coast based, and we can kind of work with them and stuff like that. So yeah, it definitely is. It should be good. I'm thinking we'll yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's still early. We got a long ways till the first round of Supercross or till we make any announcements. We're not really that far into it yet, but we're getting there. We're making decisions here soon. So yeah, it's been good.
Yep. See that for the Dirt Bike Depot boys expanding. Of course, you see behind my head the DBD jersey back there, of course, from Cleveland Supercross. But we'll go ahead and get into Unadilla in the 450 class. Hunter Lawrence was on such a roll. He had won four overalls in the last five, and then disaster strikes in Moto 2 at Unadilla. We have a crash, a tip over, a mistake that was not needed. Of course, Jett Lawrence was only 12 points behind. We knew if something happened, if Hunter slipped up in any capacity, Jett Lawrence would be right there to capitalize. And guess what happens? Jett Lawrence, who goes down early in Moto 1 and charges back to second, he ends up benefiting from his brother going down in the screw you section. He had to run uphill or downhill to retrieve his bike. I couldn't see screw you, so I didn't see the crash happen with my own eyes. There was about 85% of the track I could see. That section and the whole start section I couldn't see. So I missed that crash. Wasn't aware of what happened, but I definitely knew something happened when I see Jett come around and I see Prado and I see Deegan and I see no 96. I knew something was up, but a huge shift in the points. Now Jett Lawrence up. He's only up by 10, and once again, the red plate has seemed to be cursed this year. We've got two rounds to go. Budds Creek and Arnhem. We mentioned last week's episode that Hunter Lawrence is very good at both of those tracks. He, of course, dominated Ironman last year, both in the AMA motocross event and in Motocross of Nations, and he won the last moto at Budds Creek last year. Jorge Prado, second overall, a day after announcing that he has extended his contract with Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. 2 more years for Prado and Orange. I think it's a smart move for everybody involved. Jorge's had a great season. He's been back to looking like the typical Jorge Prado that we've been used to, a little bit closer to what we saw in MXGP. Hayden Deegan back up on the podium again as well. There's a lot of riders returning from injury. Justin Cooper, Aaron Plessinger, Malcolm Stewart all return from injury. Zach Osborne was back for the first time in 5 years, but unfortunately, he tipped over Moto 1, charged back to 22nd, ultimately unable to score a point, and then not sure what happened Moto 2, whether it was a bike failure or something else. But either way, 450 class It's been mostly predictable, especially compared to the 250 class, but now we have another wrench in things. Jett Lawrence is back in control of the class, in position for his third 450 motocross championship in 4 years. Jack, give me your thoughts on the 450 class because the racing was pretty decent this weekend. You had Jorge and Hayden Deegan showing some fight for a while, but now everything is flipped around. A 22-point swing where now we have Jett back on top, and now Hunter is back to being the guy chasing the rabbit, so to say.
Yeah, it's I've been enjoying the conversations all year because I feel like it's been a different championship topic each weekend. We've gone into it like Jett kind of needs to make something happen these last 3 rounds, right? And obviously, bearing no Hunter Lawrence mistakes, Jett could still win it. Now it's the kind of the same situation now. Just Hunter Lawrence is now in Jett's shoes. It's like they flip flop roles now. And it sucks because Hunter did one of the hardest things he probably had to do is win. He has to win, I think, what it was 2 out of the next 6 motos before Unadilla, and he won one of them already in the first moto. And he was
Yeah.
probably not going to win the second moto, but he would have gone even with Jett wouldn't have lost any
Yeah.
points. And yeah, that'd have been cool. But now he still has an opportunity to beat Jett straight up without Jett making any mistakes, and he just has to go beat Jett the next 4 motos. That's a really hard task, as we all
Yeah.
know. And but mistakes happen, and I mean it's such a bummer because I don't think it was really his. I mean it was his fault, I guess, but such a bummer area to crash in because I don't know if you walked over to screw you at all, but last
No,
year
but
during
it's
your
very, very steep.
last year during your I stood over it. And I was like, oh my god, this is the steepest hill in all of motocross, and I've been to High Point, and I'm sure you've been to High Point too, and it was
Mm.
10 times steeper than those hills, and I was like, dude, this is crazy. I don't even know how anybody gets up this thing, and like the way they get up is crazy fast. So to crash there, not good. Obviously, it ruined his moto. Pulled off. I don't know if he had a bike problem. What was it? Was it a bike issue that
Some
ended there?
sort of I feel like there was some sort of issue there. I mean, by the time he got up to, he was back in like 25th, so it would have been hard to salvage, but you could tell like when he was back riding, he wasn't riding really at 100%. Something was up. I don't remember what Lars said in the press conference, whether they found something with the bike or not, but I have to think that with the championship as close as it was, it had to have been a bike issue of some sort.
Yeah. So obviously, I hope he's 100% because if he is, I think there's
Yeah.
definitely a chance for him to still potentially win this thing. And Jet has not been perfect this year. Jet has been
No,
very inconsistent in a sense of what we're used to seeing of Jet being inside the top two pretty much every weekend. He's had some tip overs. He's had some, motos where he just kind of looked
another
off.
crash in the first moto, albeit this
Yeah.
one was a little less self-inflicted, but still clipping Deegan's rear wheel.
Yeah. I mean, there's just stuff like that that's kind of been flying around Jet, and it's made it interesting and it's made it a watchable championship for the first time in 2 years. So it's a kind of a breath of fresh air, I guess, maybe to see Jet is human, right? I mean, like we've all wondered that. Is he really just that good, or is it? I mean, obviously, I think bearing the injury, I think some things have kind of not been 100% for Jet, but it's made it for a good talking point of championship, and he doesn't, he doesn't always have it, over everybody else any given day. So it's fun to watch, and yeah, I think Hunter's been the only guy to obviously really be up there with Jet, but nobody's really had anything for Hunter but Jet. So it's kind of been like this brother battle we've been talking about all year, and I think it's going to continue to be that. I think Hunter, after the obviously the heartbreak in Supercross, it's just going to be how much does he want it, and like I think he wants this one pretty damn bad, and I think he knows if Jet's only getting better at this point, and I'm sure next season Jet's going to be even scarier. I'm sure Hunter's going to be better, but I think at the same time, like we all just know how good Jet can be, and it's crazy. So I'm excited to see it. I think if Hunter can put some pressure on Jet, make it tough for him. If Hunter can go out and go 1-1 this weekend at Budds Creek, I think it makes it really tough for Jet. Obviously, Ironman coming up. Hunter's been really good there the last couple years, and it should be fun to watch, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I know you're looking forward to it. Budds Creek's a cool track. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. It's a different style of dirt. You don't really see it on any other track this year, so yeah, it should be good racing. Unadilla definitely delivered in the 450 class, other than just the Hunter Lawrence and Jett Lawrence spectacle. I think Jorge Prado looked, like you said, the best we've seen all year, to be honest with you, minus probably Paula.
Slight bike changes over in the Prado camp, closer to his MXGP setup for those who haven't heard. So I'm not surprised a bit to hear that Jorge Prado and to witness that he was doing better. And he did look faster. I mean, he kept up with Jett for probably 25 minutes of that second moto. And then I think lappers really messed him up a little bit. But once he figures out the lappers, maybe he could steal a win and be a factor in this title race too.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what Hunter wants right now is to kind of have somebody maybe get in the way a little bit. I mean, as much as I don't think he likes Jorge Prado, I think it's something that he might want Jorge Prado behind him if Jet's in
Yeah,
between him. It
give a
creates a
buffer.
separator. So I mean, I'm hoping the best for Jorge as well. I think he can definitely win a moto coming in these last couple rounds. He's ridden at Ironman multiple times. I think for Jorge, it's kind of if he's going to get done. Obviously, he's only got 2 rounds left to do it. So, but I think too, like with the time off of that 3 weeks and kind of having more time to just be on outdoors without the Supercross distractions, like I think it kind of opens up your mind a little bit to feeling and just kind of like refreshes your body in a sense of not racing and being able to just ride outdoors, kind of like you would over in Europe. And maybe that's kind of what the key was. Is just we've heard the conversation before. Like these guys only train outdoors over in Europe. They don't ever
Yeah.
touch Supercross track. Where over here the main focus is Supercross. So you kind of put outdoors on the back burner until it's basically outdoor racing time. So it's kind of a he the preparation for Jorge obviously was nowhere near as good. So one anyways, but yeah, I think Jorge's scary. I think it's good that he's coming on strong. And I think Deegan still got some in the tank too. I know he's pretty good at Budds Creek from his 250 days. So I think it'll be fun to watch. I wish Deegan was just a little bit more just had a little bit more in him, man. Sometimes, like I just wish he could just stay up front, maybe just a little bit longer, and maybe get the feel of those things. I mean, it's kind of crazy to watch because I mean we see Deegan get a whole shot in duty class and nobody's gonna pass him. We all know that, and
Yeah.
now it's a completely different story. So yeah, it's been the 450 class this weekend definitely flipped things on its head, and I think the next 2 races, 4 motos are going to be every single moto is going to count for sure.
Every moto counts all year long, but especially these next four. It is getting the crunch time in the 450 class. Also, want to give a couple quick shout outs, man. I never thought, and I don't think anybody else in their right mind would have thought before the season, that we would have had a Jed Beaton versus Mark Finnis battle for fourth in an AMA National this year. I mean, that was awesome to watch. Mark Finnis, top five. Shout out to the ISRT Kawasaki guys. A great performance there. And of course, he's been on some great interviews lately. Mark's got plenty of personality and he's showing through. And also Jed Beaton, of course, he won the Australian motocross 450 class title coming over here for Unadilla, top tens in both motos. Great ride for him. And also, I don't know if you saw it or not, but the consolation race, Bryce Hammond jumping into the crowd was quite an insane spectacle to see. I mean, watching up for the bleachers, I honestly thought my mind was playing tricks on me because I saw a guy veer right and disappear and never saw him again. I'm like, maybe I was just imagining things, but no. We had a crowd incident in the 450 LCQ, but now moving on to the 250 class, and the points lead is down to one. Beginning the day, it looks like it's going to go Levi Kitchen's way. He's the fastest qualifier. Carson Mumford P2. Cole Davies goes down pretty hard in qualifying, lands on his shoulder, but we show up to the motos and Davies right there up front on the start. It's Davies and Hymas 1-2. And then here comes the number 47 hunting them down. Kitchen gets around both of them, passes into the lead. Hymas gets around Davies, but then he has a tip over of his own. Davies inherits second. Carson Mumford ends up getting a third place finish once again. But going into the final moto of the day, also a bummer for your guy, Casey Cochran. Man, he ripped that whole shot. He was out there. We're hearing these Star Yamaha Casey Cochran rumors heat up a little bit, and it's like, oh, here we go. This is the ride that really seals the deal, maybe. And then he gets kicked on that uphill. You see him shake his head and then just boom into the dirt. Hopefully Casey's all right. Man, that was a bummer because I watched him lead laps at High Point. That's a guy I've always kind of rooted for, had a soft spot for. He's always seemed like a really humble dude, a good dude. I've never really talked to him, but Casey's always seemed like a great person, and obviously he's got a lot of talent. And man, one of these times it's going to come together because he's definitely got the potential. It just seems like he's got bad luck hanging over his head all the time. But we moved to Moto 2. Davies gets the whole shot, and all of a sudden there's a stack up. Levi Kitchen, Julian Beaumer, a couple other guys wide. Ryder Yeckley's running for his life as the photographer standing at the edge of the corner. But then Kitchen and Beaumare, kind of a replay of Washougal. They have to work their way through the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Cole Davies is just twiddling his thumbs and just out front, cruising around. And Cole Davies picks up his fourth overall win of the season. 2-1 scores for him. Levi Kitchen climbs back into second place overall, 1-6 scores. A drag race to the finish line with Brody Connolly that he lost out on another guy who performed exceptionally well this weekend. Brody Connolly, I think, impressed a lot of people on that quad lock Honda. Also funny, of course, I'm doing the Unsung Heroes every week, covering the non-factory and privateer riders. The best 250 team this week was a team that doesn't even race the 250 class usually. Quad lock Honda, two guys in the top 10 in that final moto. Connolly fifth, Alex Larwood, the Australian motocross 250 class champion, coming over. He was in the top 10. Great day for the quad lock boys. And then Chance Hymas on the podium overall, 4-2, third overall for Chance. He's got a streak of podiums rolling right now. He's on one of the most consistent runs of his career at the moment. But man, the points lead has tightened up again. Going into Unadilla, Cole Davies was undisputed hottest rider in the sport. He had that trouble at Spring Creek, but he responded well. He had the perfect day at Washougal. Fantastic performance there. But then it seems like it flips back around at the start of the day in Unadilla. You have Levi take the fastest qualifying time. Then he goes up, reels him in, passes him, takes the Moto 1 victory. And then everything flips back around again. This 250 class championship has been absolutely nuts. And here we are with four motos left. There's only 1 point once again between the 47 and the 37.
Yeah, and I think if you're Cole Davies, you kind of got lucky at Unadilla. And not to say that his ride wasn't good, but Levi Kitchen was on another level at Unadilla, in my opinion. I mean, you saw him in qualifying, you saw him in the first moto, how he's hunting the whole pack down, basically. I
Yeah.
mean, and then in the second moto as well, goes from basically last to sixth in the span of, I mean,
Almost fifth. I mean, literally,
yeah.
they were neck and neck, side by side for fifth at the line.
So you saw Levi's Instagram post. He's like, man, I felt really good today. And I think that track suits Levi's style, the way
Yeah.
he rides kind of off the back, like just letting it hang out. It's a fast track. So now we go on to Budds Creek. I think it's going to be another good weekend of who can kind of come out on top of the mental and physical battle of pro motocross, right? I mean, Cole Davies has been quite consistent since Redbud, and I think it's showing. He's gained points. I mean, minus the mishap at Spring Creek, but yeah, and Levi's obviously kind of been up and down. He wins races, then kind of has a bad moto. Wins races, has a bad moto. We saw that again. Won a race, not a great moto. Still gets second
His
overall.
second motos this year have just been rough, man. The fact that he's been able to maintain the points, I mean, you go back. Fox Raceway, he wins Moto 1, and then second Moto, he's down on top of one of the hills. Hangtown, he's in the crash there. Thunder Valley, he's in the start crash there. High Point, kind of mediocre overall. Red Buddy goes down in a wild crash during the second Moto. I mean, it seems like every second Moto almost this season, of course, both Motos at Washoe, he's working his way through the back, but really seems like the second Moto is Levi Kitchen's Achilles heel because once again, this is the third time I think he's won the first moto, and then something happens during the second moto, and he's working his way through the back of the pack, charging up through the field. Meanwhile, Cole Davies has a nice start, and he's out front and is able to just control his race, ride his own pace. He's got clean air. He's just cruising out there.
Yeah, I think that's just been the story of Levi Kitchen. He's really fast when he wants to be, and when he's makes mistakes, he pays for it. And I think Cole's championship run this year kind of teaches you that, right? In the 250 class. I mean, just how much consistency is key, and him obviously going on a streak of winning races. Like, once you feel comfortable up front, like when you're out front, you don't really get scared. And you're like, when you're working through the pack, you just know, like, I know I can run this pace. I think that's the mentality that the 37 of Cole Davies has. It's, even if I'm in fifth, I can push to the front and get in a good spot. Like, I think that's just kind of been his mindset all year, and it's showing. I think for Levi, it's like you said, the second motor's been killing him all year. And if he can finally figure that out, he's still got the points lead. If he can figure it out these last two races, I think he wins his title because I think he's been better speed wise than Cole Davies when like the time is when it matters most, in my opinion. I mean, Davies has definitely had rides where he's better than Levi, but at the same time, it's been such a back and forth thing where on the days where Cole is good, but Levi can be better if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I feel like it's a waiting game all season of like, what are we going to get next? And now we're so tight. We just kind of have to wait even more. Nobody's really put a stamp on either championship, especially in this 250 class. Going from it was Davies, then it was Levi, then it was Bomer was in the mix, and then I mean, Shimoda was there for a while until he got hurt. Like
Seth
it's just been,
Hammaker.
yeah, Seth Hammaker as well. I mean, it's been such a roller coaster of who is going to cement themselves in this championship, and nobody can do it. And Davies has finally put together a solid run of races since Spring Creek. Is he and he's obviously he's bridged the gap to Levi now. It's kind of winner all home for either of these guys, and Levi doesn't really have any more room for error. And I think that's going to be the key for these next four races of or four motos is who's going to make the less mistakes or who's going to beat who when it matters most. I think Levi can do it. Will he do it? I don't know. And that's I think the running question, and we're going to have to see this weekend at Budds Creek. So and Davies is the one of the tracks that Davies has won at that he's actually raced
Yeah.
at is Budds Creek. So it's kind of scary if you're the number 47 going into this weekend. I think you just got to salvage what you can if you're not in a good spot and just do your best to get through the first corner.
Won the Combine and Ironman a couple years ago as well. So Davies, this last stretch is really benefiting him in the sense that he actually has experience. He's not showing up onto the property for the first time. And I believe I did misspeak a few minutes ago when I said that Kitchen was involved in the crash at Unit or at Hangtown, rather. That was Seth Hammaker when he was the points leader. Kitchen won the overall that day in Hangtown. But we talked about Jorge Prado as well in the 450 class, 250 class. Chance Hymas could be the guy that gets in between them. I mean, I think of other guys too. Carson Mumford right now is on the best form of his career. He is on fire every single weekend, and he's been, I want to say, 3-5-3-3-4 or something like that the last few weeks. I mean, he's right there nipping on their heels. And if he gets a whole shot, maybe you got to look out for him. Ryder DeFrancisco has also been riding really well this summer and has been up in the mix. He went 2-2 at Washougal. Those are guys that could get in between here. I think if you start Kitchen and Davies 1-2, they should probably stay there no problem as long as there's no shenanigans, no falling, none of that. But there are also other guys, and I think there are more guys that could get in between them. 450 class, you think of Jorge and Hayden. 250 class, there are a few more. Manier didn't have as good of a round, but he started well at times this year and ran up front. Juju still kind of got an outside shot at this. He's reeling now once again. Another kind of bad round. While Schugel was a mediocre round for him, now another round at Redbud, I think 9-12, 9-13, something along those lines. So he loses a bunch of ground. There's still a lot to uncover and unpack in the 250 class, especially with the way things have been changing all year long. But who knows? Kitchen versus Davies is going to go down to the wire, I believe, and Budds Creek could be very pivotal this weekend, as is every other round this season. Briefly, WMX, dominant display from Lachlan Turner this weekend. No surprise, really. 1-1 once again for the two-time defending champion. Of course, she won the Australian title during the season break. Charlie Cannon 2-2. Also shout out to Mela Herrick for her first career overall podium. She was riding really well as well. Shout out to the Canadian champions, Dylan Wright, the 450 class champion, Dylan Rimple, the 250 class champion, GDR Honda sweeping the men's classes, and then Jamie Astudillo, former Dirt Bike Depot KTM alum. She won her third consecutive WMX title up in Canada. So shout out to Jamie and the Priority MX Gas crew. Now we're going to switch over to Uddevalla MXGP, and the 450 class there has become very, very boring to watch because Jeffrey Herlings gets a good start, and then Jeffrey Herlings leaves everybody in the dust. Another fourth straight 1-1 performance for the Bullet. But in the MX2 class, we have another shift, and I know Jack's probably not stoked to talk about this, but Guillaume Ferez, unfortunately, he has a hard fall in the quali race on Saturday, but he gets back up. 6-4 moto scores, I think, are pretty solid on Sunday, considering the fall he took on Saturday. But all of a sudden, Sacha Coenen is the one who wins and cuts the points lead back down to 24. Camden McClellan up on the podium. Liam Everts, great day, 2-2 for him with the Swedish collars on the Husky. Of course, Liam from Belgium, but Huskies home race as a country. MX2 class now. We've mentioned that what if Sasha Kunin gets going again? What if Perez slips up? And you also have, I mean, McClellan and Langenfelder are just a little over a race out of things. So once again, if something happens to both guys, McClellan and Langenfelder, I think 64 and 68 out respectively. A full weekend of points in MXGP is 60, and we still have 4 rounds to go. We have Arnhem this weekend in the Netherlands. A lot to unpack there. The 450 class seems done and dusted. As long as Jeffrey Herlings can keep things on 2 wheels the next few weeks, he's got it dialed. He's got, I think, 116 points over Roman Fevra, who was back up on the podium. Also, Tom Vial was on the podium, so I'm sure you were happy about that. But MXGP of Sweden, the 450 class has turned into a bit of a boredom fest with Lucas Coenen out with injury. MX2 continues to deliver, continues to be great battles throughout the top 10 or so. The Resulus brothers once again battling up there. Fun to watch throughout the top 10 in the MX2 division. Kai Karsmakers had some moments of brilliance this weekend as well. But go ahead and give me your thoughts on the MXGP of Sweden. Once again, still a long way to go, especially in that MX2 class, another division that has swung around all season long.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, you kind of looked at the way things were going for Gillum, and it's like there's no way this guy can throw this away, right? And obviously, this weekend we kind of saw some scary things going on, and obviously anything can happen. We always got to remind ourselves in
Yep.
this sport anything can happen, and it's kind of been the curse of the red plate, right? I mean, you just don't want to have it, right? It's kind of bad to say that, but he still has the good points. I think he's got 23 points up on Sasha, I believe, 23, 24 points. So he's got some room still to kind of bury himself. But I think the last person you want to go in 1-1 this weekend was probably the number 19 of Sacha Coenen. That is scary news if you're Guillaume Ferez. I think he's still got what it takes. I mean, obviously the face thing, obviously it's such a you saw he got in a freaking street fight after his moto, but um I think I don't know, there's not a weekend off. Where are they at next weekend?
Nope. They're in Arnhem in the Netherlands this weekend, and it's Netherlands, so guess what that means?
Yes.
Sand. Sasha Coenen's playground.
Yeah, so it's a good time if you're Sacha Coenen. You have a chance to kind of really
Yeah.
gain some points, especially if you win some qualifying races. And if Gillum's still not 100%, it's scary. But I think Gillum should be back to normal. It wasn't like it was a didn't seem like it was much of a crazy fall or breaking any bones or bruising any concussion or anything like that. So he should be okay. Um, but definitely it's kind of you're in a weird mode if you're him. Like, do you protect? Do you kind of go for win still? Like, what's the kind of motive? Because obviously you can't just let Sasha win and you roll in second because then the points lead goes away. So if you're him, I think it's just beat everyone you can, win motos, and kind of just go into each weekend if wanting to win. If you're Gillum, and the same thing for Sasha, right? So you're kind of in like a weird middle ground if you're watching the MX2 class in the GPS. So it's interesting. It's going to be a waiting game to see if Sasha can continue his form going into these flyway races because I know Gillum has been really good at those kind of style races where it's a brand new track and he can kind of adapt very quickly and figure things out. So it's going to be fun to watch. I think there's 4 races left over there. You said right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's definitely time to lose it, and there's definitely time to gain some points, and there's definitely time to break away. So I think for McClellan and Langenfeller, their championships are probably over unless both, like you said, both guys go out. And with Kunin, what looks like to be back at 100%, that's scary. So obviously he was on a tear. I mean, and then getting the confidence back, knowing you can win again, it's just going to be to Sasha, can you keep it on 2 wheels for, you know, 3 motos?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the 250 class over there, pretty self-explanatory. Gillen and Sasha need to win to win their titles, and then the 450 class, it's pretty much wrapped up in my opinion. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody's going to beat Jeffrey Herlings. It's going to be a battle for second and third for the rest of the season. Such a bummer that Lucas can't race because I think if he was, it would have been a fun championship to watch. But
Yeah.
such a bummer because I think, well, honestly, I think he would have won if he stayed healthy. So it's kind of tough.
I
It's because
agree.
he's probably going to leave. So it sucks to leave Europe without ever getting a world title. Maybe he'll come back. Who knows? But yeah, it's the GP's. I feel like it's a waiting game in both series over here in the US and over there in Europe. So we'll just see what happens, man. It's going to be an interesting next couple weekends, and then once we get to that championship time, the last round, it'll finally be. We'll know, and we can talk about why this guy won.
And we've talked about it as well a few times in the MXGP class. You got to think with the Coonens coming over to America, of course, Jorge Prado came over to America a couple years ago. Realistically speaking, the Herlings, Geiser, Fevre bunch, they've got more runway behind them than they do in front of them. So it is going to be a new era of MXGP very soon. Who's going to be the guys to step up? Is it a guy like Kai de Wolf, like Tom Vial, like Guillaume Ferez, McClellan, some of these other guys? Who is going to really step up and take the charge when these other guys retire, these other guys come to America? There's a lot to unpack there. Also, Motocross Nation talks heating up. We've mentioned a couple teams. Team Belgium, of course, Koenen, Everts, which that could go really well, that could go really poorly. And we've seen that in the last 2 years. Last year, they were pretty competitive, but the year before, Matterley Basin, I believe Lucas, it was his first race on the 450, and he crashed hard. Latvian team could be a surprise team. I mean, look at Paul's Jonas this weekend. First moto was fantastic, and he was coming off of injury and gets a P2 up there, which is awesome to see. Of course, the Regulus brothers have been pretty solid this year in MX2. I think Carlos has stepped up. We kind of give him some flack sometimes because Giannis comes in, his younger brother, steals his thunder and gets the podium before him, but Carlos has stepped up a bit in the second half of this season. And it's great to see because the Yamaha MX2 program over in Europe is a far cry from what it is here in America. We're so used to Star Yamaha being so dominant. It's been a pretty rough couple of years for Yamaha over in Europe, but talks are heating up for the American team too. Who are we going to send? Rumors now could be Hayden Deegan, Levi Kitchen, Justin Cooper, which concerns me. Number one, Hayden Deegan's been in the conversation for the last 3 years, and have you seen him in a Motocross of Nations? Nope. Number two, we know that Kawasaki has not participated in Motocross of Nations the last several years since 2019. Shout out Bruce Sternstrom. Thank you for not supporting Motocross of Nations here in America. But now you look and you think, well, okay, this is pro circuit. Maybe Mitch Payton builds a bike. I think the only person that's went on a pro circuit bike in the last several years, Joe ran Redbud on a PC bike in 2022 for Team Japan. That didn't go very well, but he was still out there for them. So it's like, who is it going to be? You got to think RJ Hampshire is probably one of the guys. It's like, well, if somebody drops out, RJ's probably getting promoted. But at the same time, he's switching teams, so maybe he's out. Julian Beaumaire is probably that next guy in the 250 class. It's like, well, if we can't send Kitchen, I think Juju would be a shoe-in, especially considering KTM and Husky usually are 100% in for Motocross the Nations, but it's heating up. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I mean, it's hard to tell. I think there's a better chance for a Team USA victory now that Lawrence and Lawrence aren't racing. But at the same time, it's on French soil, and the French are always really, really good to beat. The Dutch team, MX2 is going to be a weakness, but if you have Herlings and De Wolf, that's a scary duo. Plus Team Spain, if you send Prado over there, Prado Ferez Fernandez is a legitimate P1 contender, in my opinion. So there's lots up in the air for Motocross of Nations.
Yeah, the MX Nations, it's always a freaking guessing game with the US. I feel like the other teams they always have like three or four guys, and it's going to be between these guys, and that's it, right? Now, the defending champs Australia are probably going to go out there and get 30th because who knows who they're going to put on a 450. I mean, they have Jed Beaton, who hell, he was freaking good
Dude,
this weekend.
beating Larwood Webster would be unironically probably a top eight, top 10 team.
I kind of agree with that. And but nonetheless, the US team is always freaking a question mark. I mean, I would
Yeah.
look at our roster now if we everybody was healthy, we took Chase Deegan and Kitchen or Hymus, I think we'd be freaking great. We go out there and win probably two out of the three motos and be fine. But anyway, minus that point. Without the Lawrences there, that's why I'm saying that.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
got you.
that's where I'm saying that. But I mean I think even if without the Lawrences there, it really opens up the whole door because Deegan is
It
really
does.
good minus the Lawrences. I mean, Jorge Prado can beat him, but at the same time, Deegan's been clearly the best American 450 rider we've had, and
Oh yeah,
how we
no
have that's
question.
healthy right now. I wish Chase was healthy because I think he would do it if, and I know it's in his contract to do it. I believe if he wanted to with Cowie, obviously he's not doing it. He's hurt. Um, but then you have Jay Coop and Levi. I think Levi's a good option. I think Hymus would, in my opinion, would be the second best option. In
Yeah,
my opinion,
Hymus would be a good option.
Honda's always been pretty supportive of it. So you have to think, but it could be one of those things with Jet and Honda not doing it. Like Honda might be like, hey, like we're not gonna even try to do this
Could
HRC
be.
over here in America. So
Unless
then
you
it
try to
might
get him on
lose.
a Garibaldi 250 because
Yeah,
does Lotta go for Italy? Maybe, but that's even a stretch there. I'm trying to think of Italy's guys. You have obviously like Adamo Bonacorsi in the MXGP class, but realistically speaking, it's not been a very good year for Valerio Lotta. He might be their 250 guy, but just by proxy.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of I mean, the 250 class, we have so many guys that are good, like just solid dudes. Like, do you even think about like a guy like Mumford? Like, I don't know, like,
Ryder D.
yeah, somebody like that that's just kind of random, and he's good enough to compete to get top fives, maybe, but like, is he good enough to win? I don't know because the 250 guys over there, you have Ferez, McClellan, Langenfelder, Coenen, like all those guys are really good. I think
Yep.
that conversation we brought up like a month ago of like the what was the guy's name that commentates over there? Is that the conversation
Paul
we could be
Malin. Yeah.
like? What's that conversation like now? Like if we go to I don't know, we go to the MX Nation. I mean, Langenfelder I think isn't going to do it.
No, he's not on the team. It's, I
Yeah,
believe, Cock, Keys, Spees. And they're probably going to flag that, but that's how you pronounce his name. So thanks, YouTube. Yeah, I mean, no Langenfelder or Roxon, so Germany's going to be struggling this year.
they
Also,
might not
team,
even make the A final.
I think they'll make the A final, but it's not going to be pretty once they get there, I don't think. Also, Team UK revealed our boy Head, I'm sure, stoked with the Ben Watson, Ben Musto, Taylor Hamill lineup. Hey man, it's Team UK. We're not in the days of Max Anstey, Dean Wilson, Tommy Searle anymore. I mean, I guess you could run it back, but Tommy Searle's 100, Dean Wilson's 57, and Max Anstey's doing World Supercross. So
At 38. So it's what are you gonna do, man? But yeah, if I had to pick a USA team, I'd probably honestly I'd go RJ over J Coop right now, but J Coop's probably better, I would
and
think. J
RJ's probably
Coop's
switching teams as well.
yeah.
He's
So I
probably
mean
headed for that Ducati machine.
Deegan, J Coop, Kitchen would be my team if I had to pick one.
Yeah.
And hopefully they go. I mean that's the three best available guys.
Yep.
And if they can all go, send them. And I think Levi can do it with his contract at PC. So I'm pretty sure Mitch is kind of supporting that, especially if he wins the MX or the 250 title. Like I would hope that he would go.
I agree. I mean, realistically speaking, hey, if we want to have Team USA's best lineup next year, Jett Lawrence, Cole Davies, Hunter Lawrence, dude, we're not losing.
We ain't losing.
Uh, Team USA, baby, our three best riders. But all jokes aside, Motocross the Nation's coming up. Of course, we're going to be talking more about it because that's one of our favorite races of the year. I absolutely love that event. Ernée, France, October 4th. We'll see what happens there. And now it's about time to start getting into predictions and entry list previews for this weekend. Of course, Arnhem in the MXGP series and Budds Creek over here in America. Here we are, entry list time. Budds Creek National, of course, this is Tuesday evening, so not finalized yet, but a whopping 82 entries on the 250 class list as of now. Shout out to Lux Turner signing his extension with the Toyota Redlands Bar X Yamaha team. Looking through, of course, a lot of typical names we find. Brody Connolly, of course, after a great ride. Hayes Edwards had a really good conversation with he and his mechanic Matt Landry this weekend over with they were pitting beside the Wildcat race team truck. Thor Powell making his pro debut. Cade Bradley, we mentioned last week, he made his pro debut at Unadilla. Gavin Betts back in. Kyle Wise. Will we see the 378 this weekend? Nate
Hey,
Freehill back on the list.
shout out
Ryder.
Gavin Betts, by the way. I don't know if you saw his start in was
Oh,
it the
dude,
fourth
he was like
moto?
P4, yeah. First moto. I was like,
Yeah,
wow,
it's
what a
crazy.
start. Very impressive. Ryder Malinowski, 431, which is weird. I was hoping for 981, you know. That's the old Stroopy, the old Austin Politelli number. Politelli might have that reserved actually, even though he didn't race this year. But Ryder Malinowski to make his professional debut this weekend, of course, fresh off of his second place finish in the Canadian 250 MX series. We have Kale Kuchnicki, another Canadian regular, even though he's from America. Justin Turner's back again. Alex Larwood, of course, is in for the final three. Cole Pranger, another Canadian making his way down. He's on the same Priority MX Gas team that Jamie Astudillo is competing for. Baylor McKellar, Will Canagier, Hunter Racing Kawasaki, another amateur rider making his pro debut. Landon Gibson's back in the field. He raced Budds Creek a year ago as well. So shout out to Landon Gibson, who of course joined us early in the show's history. Christian Janik back with Rock River, or Gizmo Racing, I should say. 450 class, lots of familiar faces, obviously. We'll see if any of these guys jump off the page. So far, of course, Zach Osborne's in for the final three as well. Jed Beaton back on the list, so I guess we will see Jed Beaton once again. Very cool to see.
Did Jet
Arena
won the
crossover.
title last year, right? Why
Jed
is he
Beaton.
not listed as number one? I'm so lost. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. Jett Lawrence is listed as 18. That's strange.
I was like, what the
I
heck?
didn't realize that. Yeah, must be a little mishap in the systems. Tyler Stepek ran a 250 last weekend at Unadilla. Though he's back in the 450 class for some reason. Also, Vinny Lahovey has switched to a Yamaha recently, but listed on Kawasaki as of now. Hayden Justice and Joey Crown out. Dude, Club MX is bringing out the whole squad this weekend. You got Joey Crown, you got Hayden Justice, you got the two boys in the 250 class, the youngins. Of course, Yoder's in there, Yodog, YSL Yoder turning up. Freezy's back this weekend. He was sick, I believe, and missed Unadilla. And then also Scotty Clark on more Ultimate Rider fellas in there for those who watched that show. I personally did not, but shout out to the Ultimate Rider. WMX, of course, a lot of familiar faces. We also have Hannah Cole. We have some Canadians in the field. GDR Honda, Hannah Cole in the field. We have, scroll down a bit here. We also have there at the bottom Kaylee K or MX 101 Yamaha in the field. She was competing in the Canadian series. We got all four of the top Canadian ladies in here. Of course, Jamie Astadio, Jordan Jarvis from America. Jamie, we mentioned her earlier in the show, wrapped up another WX title up in Canada. Also, it was really cool to see Brandy Richards and Taylor Jones at Unadilla. They will be back. Two off-road specialists, Brandy for the FMF KTM Factory Racing off-road team, Taylor for Phoenix Racing Honda. 33 entries. Great to see once again. WMX have had a lot of entries this year. They've been about 28 to 34 throughout the season. That is your entry list preview for Budds Creek. Now we'll try to see what we got here. MXGP of the Netherlands. See if there's anything that sticks out here. Of course, Fevrelzinga. Lucas Coenen's on the list, but will we see him race? Hopefully he's able to go this weekend. Max Spies, we were just talking about him a few minutes ago. Edvards Bidzons on Ducati. Kevin Beatonwees. Not sure if that's saying his name right, but we have the 226 is back. Glenn Koldenoff. Yeah, there we go. The 259's back, baby. I'm excited for that. Always like to watch Glenn Koldenoff. Hakon Fredrickson, he had a good race. I forget where it was last year. It might have been Lommel, actually. I feel like he got a top 10 or a top 15 in a 450 moto somewhere. So don't sleep on Hakon Fredrickson either. Also, of course, Adam Sterry, you know, Ben Watson, all of those guys who are usually in the mix. Also, we have MX2 entry list. Let's see how full that is. It's not full because there's EMX 250. EMX 250 routinely draws way more for whatever reason. But Langenfelder, McClellan, Gunderson, Lotta, Kuhn, Mikula, Everts, Makers, Korsbeck, Regulus, Peklai, Zanke, Grau, Gaspari, Ferez, Volker, Sunman, Smolders, Rossi, Forsgren, Colmer, Kalemo, Raffini, Zanox, Ball, Zdunek, Regulus, and Sven there at the bottom on the number 880. EMX 250, of course, Francisco Garcia well on his way to the title. WMX, seriously doubt there are any crazy entries, but Lotte Van Drunen, this should be her home country race as well. The number one. So shout out to her. Shout out to the EMX 250 riders as well. Also, hopefully this is loaded up. It is not loaded up. Um, there is an auction, a cause near and dear to our hearts here at the Stire Sound. If you have followed me for the last year and a half, you would know that I have been invested in the Jamie Bradford story, of course, the sister of former pro motocross racer Cole Bradford. Unfortunately, Jamie lost her battle earlier this year with a rare aggressive form of cancer. And now there's a GoFundMe auction live for Jamie. Of course, all of the proceeds going to the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation. And there are signed items. I wish it would load up because there are a lot of great pieces of memorabilia. There are Ken Roxon jerseys. There's Seth Hamaker, Chance Hymas. There's a Jett Lawrence pair of Jordans and Nikes or something in there. I mean, you've got a lot of different jerseys. I believe there's a Levi Kitchen Monster Energy Bell helmet in there that you can bid on. There's a Dirt Bike Depot Racing team gear, something like that. You could probably add more on that. But there are a lot of items benefiting Jamie, and like I said, benefiting the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation. I wish it would load. It's a very great cause. Shout out to Cole and the whole Bradford family for putting this on. Unfortunately, it's not cooperating with us and it's not loading, but you can visit the link, go to Cole's Instagram page. I believe it's just Cole Bradford is his username. He has the links in his link tree and his bio. You see it right there, pro.gofundme.com/live/auction/number 4 and then Jamie. So go check that out. Apologies to all of those trying to see what the items are. Go check that out on your own time. Unfortunately, it wasn't loading. But predictions. Scroll way, 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 way down. Unadilla. What a weekend for your boy. Trey Stire. I got a random spot. Second random spot of the summer that anybody has received. Edward Heather failed to pick a podium once again, so I didn't even give him a random rider. Ed, if you're listening, if you don't send in your podium predictions this week, I'm docking 20 points from you. Cheers, mate. But yes, I had Jett Lawrence winning. I had Cole Davies winning. I had Henry Miller 23rd. Thank you, Henry. I know you want to accomplish more. I know you want to move up the pack a bit, but thank you, Henry Miller, for finishing 23rd. Of course, Jack had Hunter Lawrence. Hunter Lawrence did not get the victory. We go down to Uddevalla. It's a little bit out of order because of the way MXGP has happened lately, but Uddevalla predictions. Jeffrey Herlings is a smart pick. I did go pick Tim Geiser because I'm like, hey man, we got to see a different winner sometime. It's not happened yet. We were pretty rough on our 250 picks this week. I had Mackey winning. It did not happen. I did have Liam Everts in second. Jack had McClellan in third. Very close. Look at that battle. 375, 365, 365. It's down to the wire in MXGP. So now we'll go over here. Budds Creek predictions this weekend. Fourth place random. I think 450 class is going to be between one of two guys. 250 class might be harder, but 450 class, now his back's up against the wall. I said last week Jett Lawrence's back was against the wall. So guess what? Hunter Lawrence went to Budds Creek. I think Jett's going to be second. Pretty easy to talk about there. I think Hayden Deegan gets the spot, which means my fourth place is Jorge Prado. Go figure. 250 class, I just can't pick against him in the form he's on right now. Cole Davies gets the win at Budds Creek. Who's going to be second? Horses don't stop. They keep going. Chance Hymas, Levi Kitchen third. I think Davies will have about a 6 point lead going into the finale. I don't think you want a point lead at any point, but hey, that's the nature of the beast. Somebody's got to have the red plate going into the final round. And who's going to be just off the podium this weekend? Recent history says it's going to be Carson Mumford. I could go Juju. I could go Ryder D. I could go, maybe Michael Motorcycle has a great race this weekend. I'm going to go Mumford though. He's trending in the right direction. Had a lot of success lately. Shout out to Carson Mumford. I'll go ahead and do my RM picks. MXGP Class G. I wonder who's going to win in the sand this weekend. That's the hardest pick I've ever had to make. I want to go Fevra for P3. MX2 class. It's Sacha Coenen time. McClellan's good in the sand. I'll go Perez for P3, salvaging some points. Feel like very cookie cutter podiums this week in predictions for me, but hey, man, we're trying to gain some points here. Jack, Budds Creek starting off there. Who you got? Which Lawrence are you picking to win this week?
Oh, my heart says Jet, but my brain says Hunter. Or my heart says Hunter, but my brain says Jet. But I'm gonna go with the heart here. I'm gonna go Hunter Lawrence.
Hunter Lawrence.
And then I'm gonna go Jett Lawrence. Actually, no, 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 no. Jorge Prado gets second.
Jorge for a second. All right.
Jett Lawrence third.
How funny would it be though if Jorge Prado won, considering he qualified what 43rd last year at Budds? How
On
funny
purpose.
would it be if somehow Jorge Prado walked away with the victory?
All right, and then give me Kitchen to win.
Mhm.
It's coming. It's coming. And then give me
We're just going to
Hymus,
keep picking Davies and Kitchen. I'm going to pick
Hymus,
Davies. Jack's going to pick
Davies,
Kitchen.
Davies. And
I'm guessing
then
Deegan, since he wasn't in your podium.
yeah, Deegan will get fourth. And then I'm gonna go fourth is like such a tough spot, man. Give me Manier.
Minier. I like that pick. Almost had a podium earlier in the year. Yeah, Ed, if you don't make our prediction, let's get, let's cook some predictions here. Nick Pecorelli for the win. Kyle Zworkowski for second,
Nikki
and
Randinella for third.
Joey DeSant. Dude, Ricky Randonell might qualify for the motos. He's not that bad. But yeah, there we go. Ed's 250 class podium. Then Arnhem, I would expect you to pick Jeffrey Herlings. I don't even have to ask, I don't think.
No, no,
But
sir. No, sir. We're going Kai D.
no.
Wolf to take a victory this weekend.
Oh, I want it to happen. I want to see Kida Wolf snatch Jeffrey Herling's chain and be like, you know what? I'm the next generation of sand. But all right, Kida Wolf and Herling second though. Gotta be right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then third place.
give me Paul's Jonas.
Oh, I was expecting it to be between Fevra or Vial or maybe a Geiser pick. You went off the limb there. Paul's Jonas.
You gotta
That'd be
take
cool. Dude,
risks.
I want to see that podium now. I don't care if I lose ground in the standings. I want to see DeWolf and Jonas on the podium. Screw
And
it,
then,
dude. MX2 class.
oh, I hate to do it. I hate to do
You're
it.
picking Sacha Coenen.
I hate to do it. I hate to do it. I hate to
I
do
got
it.
it once again. I got to go up and count how many times you picked Perez because it's been pretty much every race. There have been a couple times that you've picked against your boy, but
I hate to do it. I hate to do it.
yeah,
And then
I know. I can see the pain on your face.
give me Ferez and
Perez for
then
second.
MC in third.
Mackey for third. Yeah, I mean, see, there's one race, Uddevalla,
A lot of
two,
green there for me.
three, four, yeah, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. I think 10 out of like 15 rounds you have picked Perez to win. I figured it would be more, to be completely honest. But yeah, there we go. There's our predictions.
But
Kida Wolf,
I think
first
Sasha
MXGP.
goes 2-1 to win though. That's my so Gillen doesn't lose any points.
All right. Ooh, quality race then. What happens in the quality race? Somebody's going to gain points regardless, unless they both finish outside the top 10 there. But hey, man, 24 points. There you have it. Ed, pick your podiums, mate. Pressure's on, bruv. There you go. Stire Sound episode 51. Unadilla's in the books. Uddevalla is in the books. It's 7:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we're finishing recording this on Tuesday evening. Thanks so much for tuning in. He's Jack Noel. I am Trey Stire. Episode number 51 of the Stire Sound is in the books, and the Stire Sound is fading out. We'll see you after Budds Creek.